we talk about women, gender, we talk about the youth. Those are big programs that are talked about at all levels of the United Nations and global powers. I think one of the important things is we need to recognize the role of the mother in the home. And one of the things in Africa is, whilst we're very patriarchal in our systems, you find that the mother is the organizer, is the doer, makes things happen. It's not just making of meals. She can make decisions with the family, on behalf of the family. And we find that when it comes to livestock, especially smaller livestock, that's where the women tend to excel. Men sometimes will say, no, we deal with the cows, and the women deal with the goats and sheep, but the women are involved in the cows as well. And I find that they're the drivers of the home. And so it's very important that we acknowledge that. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. The mothers are always very important. But if we move on to talking about economic sustainability of livestock, I think it goes back to the farmer understanding that he has a commercial asset, an economic asset in his animal, as opposed to an idle asset. It's not just there for pleasure, to have a look and say, I've got 80, but I have no money. An example I'll give you is of a farmer who stole some fence wire from a neighbor so that he could pay school fees for his child. He was obviously arrested, went to court, was given a fine, and he said, I can't afford it. When you have a fine or jail time, very small fine, probably in the region of $5 US. And he said, I can't afford it because I'm poor. And then they said, what assets do you have? And he has 80 cattle. But as far as he was concerned, he was poor. Now, if each animal is worth between 400 and 500 $500 US, do the math. He's not poor, but he doesn't understand that he's sitting on a commercial asset. So it's about getting that production right, making sure that the farmer can produce the steers, which he can then sell to the market. But what we're not talking about is increasing numbers. I think that's the first most important thing. It's not about the farmer going from 10 animals in his herd or her herd to 15 animals or 20 animals. It's about having 10 efficient animals that are producing, that are being looked after, that will provide good meat to the community, to the abattoir, and the farmer can use that as a source of income. Just as a matter of interest, one steer can sell for between 400 and 500 US. In Zimbabwe, the producer price of maize is $390 a ton, but the average yield per farmer is 450 kgs. So that's half the price of one steer. For a farmer who's sitting with 15 animals, he just has to sell one. He can go to the shop and buy his maize. He can buy all his starches in the shop. So that's where people need to understand that cattle are a very good, viable source of income for the farmers, because they have them, they've managed them for years. Yes, we have droughts, we have disease, but we're not as prone to those things as your crops are.